rational, persistent, diligent. Vishal Pariani exposes frauds for what they are. He stalks his prey, lurking in the shadows like a ninja so as not to be seen. And he strikes when the time is right. Stalking a new enemy. Saving a best friend.
Oh, stop it!
I am Vishal Pariani. Back in the 1800s, enlightened thinkers argued that man was inherently good. No man was born evil, or so they thought. I have recently been working on a personal project, and I have made some shocking discoveries. I found a man, scarred by war and terror in his childhood, who has no morals.
I wanted to go bomb Libya.
I found a man whose evil induces people to shudder as he saunters past them. I found Zackh. I have seen and heard some disturbing things recently. I have been following the self-proclaimed Z-Dog very closely, and my view on him has changed completely. He seems like a decent-natured individual, but is he really what meets the eye?
I don't know. He's always asleep. Like, all the times I see him, he's either eating or sleeping. It's either Pop-Tarts or he's out. He's drooling just all over the place. Like, you could tell where Zackh was by the fact that there's like a puddle of saliva where he was sitting, or sleeping, that is.
So yeah, Zack's in my AP Environmental class, and he likes to sleep a lot. It's pretty funny because he sleeps like this, like he puts his head back in the middle of class and the teacher's speaking.
He seems slightly suspicious, only for the fact that he always goes like this. Like, whenever we're in class, he'll just start doing that. Or also, he won't mention to me like anything outside of running. Like, he'll just only speak about sports and stuff. If I ask him, how was your weekend, he'll be like, none of your business, or like, I had a meet. Even when he's not in season, he'll be saying like, I had a meet.
That's not even where it starts. Zackh has been living a very sordid life that not too many people know about for the past 2 decades. He's benefited from the ignorance of his classmates, but unfortunately for old Zackers, I'm on a mission to end his reign of terror on the hearts of all of my best friends. I found some people who reveal things about Zackh that he wouldn't want anyone to ever know.
Yeah, Zackh seems like a nice guy in school, but he's a douche. I think he has a thing against black people.
No. He's a terrible singer.
Yeah, I know Zackh pretty well. Actually, we used to be good friends until he had a real attitude change. Got pretty sassy this one time. We were at the beach, and I made this beautiful sandcastle. It was amazing. And then all of a sudden, Zackh comes out of nowhere and just kicks it over like it was nobody's business, and then runs out screaming, "I love Jason Katz!" Like, who does that?
He made fun of my accent.
He called me fat. I don't eat now because you called me fat. Thanks a lot.
From the moment I met the guy, I could tell he was a real asshole. I was walking home, from school one day, and I get to my house, and Zackh Koukios is in my house. He's got my dog pinned down on the ground, and he's trying to feed it Twizzlers. Now, licorice is poisonous to dogs, I don't think anyone knows that, but it is. And not only does he try to defile my dog, but he's got a baby in his hand. And he just took a bite out of it like it was an apple. The guy's insane.
I hate Zackh.
Yeah, Zack's a pretty cool guy. We go waxing all the time. Zack always pushes me around. He always makes fun of the way I walk. Can you believe that? What kind of person does that? Like, honestly.
I've had Zack in my home for 4 years, and he's never talked to me. Like, I've had school with him 9 years before that, and he just ignores me. He thinks he's too cool now. He runs cross country. Like, who are you, Zack? Like, talk to me, man. Like, I miss you, but like, every day you sit next to me and just ignore me and talk to that other girl in the classroom and the teacher, but you don't even look at me. Like, come on, we went to school for 9 years. We live like 2 blocks away from each other. Come on, Zack, talk to me, man.
I was like, hey, Zack, how you doing? And he's like, fuck you.
Zack and I used to be the bestest friends. He even bought me a Barbie doll in the 3rd grade. But then what does he do? He ripped her head off, and then he laughed and ran away.
So one day we were running down church, and Zack was having a bad day. He was really frustrated for some reason. He's grunting, he's panting, and there's this dog, Matt Miller's dog, that's on church in Menard. And so one day he's frustrated, he's all worked up. He says, "Oh man, I gotta tie my shoe." He's tired. We thought it was just being a pussy, but no. So we just went on without him. As we're running away, we hear a loud yelp, just crazy. When we get back to school, there's blood all over his shoes, entrails wrapped around, God, it's like he tied his shoe with the dog's intestine. Yeah. A few days later, it turns out he admitted that he killed that dog. He punted it like a football multiple times into Church Street. It's dead.
A dog? Hey, that dog had it coming.
Regardless, Zack, your actions have made you unpopular among those who know the real Zack Kukios.
Get the fuck away from me.
Honestly, I just want him gone.
The guy's a nutjob. He belongs in a mental hospital. And I for one, I don't care for him at all.
Come on, Zack, get it together.
Zack, you're not a very nice person.
Fuck you. But if you think that's bad, it gets worse. Much worse. I have some disturbing interviews that cannot be described in words. Take a listen.
I was walking in the park one day and I saw a little boy swinging on the swings all by himself. I wanted to help him because he's all alone, but then I saw him. He got there first and I didn't know what to do, and he grabbed him and I wanted to call for help, but I couldn't because he already got him!
Poor Timmy will never get his innocence back. Child abduction is not a joke. Zack Kukios clearly isn't the person everyone thought he was. Even as a child, he was a flaming menace to society.
This one time, about like 16 years ago, me and Zack, we were pretty much best friends. He was a good kid back in the day. I remember this one warm Sunday afternoon, me and little Zack Kukios, we were going to the candy store, just like we always used to. And we were on our way there, we were walking, and all of a sudden I looked at Zack. He had stopped walking and I looked at him. He just had this the most deranged look on in his eyes. You could tell he had the urge to kill that day. I was like, Zack, what's up? What's? You look really weird. Are you okay? Are you feeling all right? And Zack said, you see that elderly couple inside of that house there? And I looked, and yeah, there was an elderly couple. They were really nice. They had a dog. And I said, yeah, what about them? He said, I wanted to light their house on fire. I'm like, Zack, what the hell? What's wrong with you? What's gotten into you? And I could just see it in his eyes. He wasn't the same person. I don't know what happened to him. I was like, no, Zack, I can't let you do that. But he said, I'm not going to let you stop me, Kevin. And then he just pushed me down onto the concrete, and I fell, and I started crying because I was like 2 at the time. So I fell, and I'm crying, and I'm bleeding out my ears. And I'm on the ground, I can't get up. My legs are just locked in place, and I just see him walk over to the house, and he just cracks the window open, and he walks through the window, and the old couple, they're screaming, and he just starts beating on the old man. And the old woman's like, she has a walker, and she's just kind of walking over to the telephone to call the police. But by the time she picks it up, he's already there, and he strangled her with a telephone cord. I just saw the look in her eyes. It was like, why, Zack? Why are you doing this to me? I didn't do anything wrong to you. And then he picked up the dog and just took a bite out of it, like an apple. And it was just, it changed my life forever. It changed my opinion of him. But he came out, he helped me up, and I was like, Zack, how could you have done this? This is not you. And he kicked me in the mouth and said, Kevin, shut the fuck up, we have to leave. So we heard sirens coming, so we got up and we ran, and we just kept running and running and running away. I got tired, but Zack just kept going. He was like a machine. He's like a well-polished running machine, and I just remember the glistening of his taut muscles in the sunlight while we were running that day. And yeah, we ran for about 5 miles that day until we got to his house. And that's how we got into track and field, actually. Then the next week I read in the paper that the old couple's funeral was being held at the church like that day, like in a week, like a couple days, you know. So I went to there, and their grandchildren were there, and their children were there, and it was just really sad. I walked up to them and I said, I'm going to help you. I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to find the person who did this to your grandparents and your parents, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows. I'm going to make his story known, and that's why I'm talking to you today.
Now, admittedly, those last 2 interviews with Ray and Kevin were completely false. However, did you not think for a little bit that maybe what I was saying was true? Just the fact that you did believe me for a second shows how much differently you think of Zack right now. You're starting to see Zack's true colors.
Let's start the workout. 25. Take it down the runway.
I have sacrificed my time creating this video because I am disgusted that such an immoral piece of crap would brainwash some of my closest friends into being his acquaintance. How dare Zack Kukios put on some act that he's a good-natured person? He is a liar and a fraud.
This is awkward.